Okay, good evening, Vietnam. Live from LZ Bunker. This is the Veterans Live Show. I'm your host, Ronny. I served with the 101st Airborne Division in Vietnam, December 1967 to December 1968. Tonight's guest is a very special person in many ways. It's the saluting Marine. His name is Tim Chambers, and you might have seen him down in Washington on Memorial Day saluting, and he's been there for many Memorial Days. He's in uniform for 24 hours down by the National Mall in D.C. Since his time in the Marine Corps, Tim has done a number of other great things to help veterans and has even done a children's book named The Saluting Marine. We'll speak to Tim in a few moments, but first I'd like to let you all know that this program is brought to you by Fallen Never Forgotten, a Vietnam memorial book that brings home all, even captains. This was going out. The guy never came home from Vietnam. Visit fallenneverforgotten.com for more information or to purchase your copy. Headlines. Okay. Vietnam veterans headlines for the week of April 28th. Memorial Day is just around the corner. We will be broadcasting live from Washington, D.C. frequently throughout the Memorial Day weekend. We will also be live streaming events and doing interviews, so stay tuned to our Facebook pages and subscribe to our Veterans Live Show YouTube channel so you know exactly where we are and you can stop by and see us and maybe get interviewed. And here we go to the Vietnam Timeline segment. Okay, this day in the Vietnam War, April 28th, 1965. CIA Director John A. McCone sent a personal memo to President Johnson, which stated that unless the United States is willing to intensify bombing, there is no use in committing more U.S. ground troops. The number one song, April 28th, 1965, was Mrs. Brown, You've Got a Lovely Daughter by Herman's Hermits. April 25th is my birthday, sorry. Okay, this date in the Vietnam War, April 28th, 1972. The North Vietnamese offensive continues as Fire Base Bastogne, 20 miles west of Hue, falls to the communists. Bases nearby, including Fire Base Birmingham, just 6 kilometers east, continue to repel the offensive. The number one song on April 28th, 1972 was The First Time I Ever Got to See Your Face by Roberta Flack. Okay. Let's go to the photos. Okay, first photo from Ray Cassidy. Dropped a daisy cutter on a suspected NVA bunker complex. NVA barely had time to collect their personal property before they took off. Photos by Ray Cassidy, 2nd of the 12th Infantry, 25th Infantry Division, 1970. Thank you, Ray. Next picture. Okay, from Ben J. Taylor. Group cleanup. They will stay for you. They will stay clean for a few hours. You cleaned up when you could. Right. That's probably a bomb crater. Could you let us know about that, Ben? Send us a comment at the end of the show, Ben. Thank you. Is that a bomb crater? Okay. Fred Klieg. Quoc Lo, National Road 13 in Canton, south of Fire Base Thunder 3 in Bin Long Province. Probably members of the 5th ARVN Division. Notice one wearing a purple scarf. Different colored scarves were worn by different units to ID them for others. I never knew that. That's very interesting. But look at these guys. They're all happy. No weapons, no packs. And check out the guy in the back on the left up there with the ox cart. Okay. Very good. Thank you. Next picture. Rick Langley landing in Hong Kong for R&R in April of 67. We flew aboard this old dilapidated DC-6B aircraft. I wasn't sure the thing was going to make it. Well, Rick, it looks like you made it to Hong Kong and back home. Good for you. Thank you for that picture. Okay, here's our Vietnam picture of the week. Agent Orange. Okay, there's the spray. And here's Philip C. Tyson sent us a picture of, which must be hundreds, maybe 1,000, 55-gallon drums of Agent Orange behind our Camo Radio vac MAC-V TM50 in Cam Lan, Vietnam, 1968. I don't know where that is, but wow. Looks like there's a village store there over there. Look at all that stuff. Oh, my gosh. Okay, here's our Agent Orange, our Vietnam card. Agent Orange was first used during Operation Ranch Hand in 1962. Its principal purpose was to defoliate the dense protection of the jungle, thus denying the enemy its cover. Approximately 12 million gallons of Agent Orange, so-called for the orange band painted on its containers, was sprayed over Vietnam in the following 9 years. Wow. Okay. We're going to bring our guest in tonight, Staff Sergeant United States Marine Tim Chambers from California. Welcome, Tim. Can you hear me, Tim? Matt, can't hear Tim.
Thank you very much. We're good. We're good, sir.
All right, there you go. Okay. So, welcome. Thank you. Welcome. And tell us a little about your initial journey, the first year or two in the Marines.
I loved it. It was everything my recruiter told me it was going to be. I grew up on a farm. Grandpa prepped me for that, and he was Coast Guard World War II. Was an administrator. Got to start with the division, bounced over to the wing, then went to a few different base elements. Moved up in rank, got to teach middle-level management or NCOs, ethics and leadership. I loved that. And was at the Pentagon on 9/11, spent 3 days bringing remains out. Thought my Marines had all perished. That was pretty much my only real call to action or gut check. And I was there when the smoke lifted on that one. So maybe our training has something to do with that.
Wow. Yeah, that's it's kind of a history. Give it. And how long were you in the service?
Right, like 15 days, under 16 years.
Wow. So, and where were you stationed now in different places?
Yeah, I started at Camp Pendleton. Then I went over to Okinawa, came back to San Diego, got selected to work over at the Pentagon, which brought me there for 9/11. Then bounced to 29 Palms from there, and then finished out at Camp Pendleton.
Where's 29 Palms? In California, I imagine, right? Oh, no.
It's outside of Palm Springs. The Army left us this place, this wonderful desert tropical paradise, in the 20s or 30s or something.
Right. Okay. Well, good for you. And what brought you to do the salute?
Well, growing up, I was the mascot. High school, I just was always the mascot. In home, oldest of 6. I'm in DC. I see all these motorcycles rolling by. I'm thinking that we need to be out there doing more because we're active duty in the district, and we need to be reaching out to veterans and thanking them for their service. So that's what I was doing, a one-man working party. See the bikes rolling by, primarily veterans. So I thought, I usually only see them at funerals, and I'm salute them when we lay them to rest. So I'm going to salute them today, because it's way too late at a funeral. So I jumped off the curb, popped up a salute, just saw the tears rolling by. It kept me motivated to keep whipping it on. At the very end of it, both sides street rushed me and said, "Marine, thank you for giving me a welcome home." And the salute is actually averaged between 3 to 5 hours every year that Rolling Thunder has been taking place the last 19 years. Now, last year is when I did the 24-hour stand at attention to connect the dots, make sure people know that the ride is still happening thanks to the MVets, and represent them on top of representing what the weekend's about is honoring our loss.
Oh, wow. The loss is the most important thing. And this year, you think we're going to go?
Absolutely. Rolling to remember, the MVets picked it up. The Pentagon's not working with them very clearly. Hopefully that relationship will continue to grow as we want to do this for years to come. My right arm didn't say that. But so it looks like the MVets are going to come out with the final where we're going to set up to roll in. And they're going to be having some events. It's on rollingtoremember.com as far as what's going down that weekend.
Yeah, it's getting pretty close.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
A month away, 5 weeks away. So hopefully, I made reservations to go. Have you?
Yes, yes, I will be there. I'll be at my
Booked and everything.
post.
Okay, good. Okay, and so when you're standing there with that salute for so long, and all these people are coming by, what I think you might have said it, but what? Give me a little bit more from down here of what's going through your mind when the salutes and the thumbs up and all that's exchanged.
Well, I'm reaching veterans and they're saluting me back, and that's like the highest form of respect we have as a salute. And it's fire in the belly. I get motivated when they rev up their motorcycles and they roll by me, when they holler Semper Fi. The first few years they didn't know my name. I liked that. It was like the unidentified Marine salutes bikers at Rolling Thunder in the Marine Corps time. When they got to know my name, that felt good. But now there's an expectation. Now there's even more of a reason. We're losing our moral compass. We're not going to the center of the road. My salute kind of brings people back to the center of the road of genuine respect and compassion. Now I'm representing all the families that don't have their loved ones, that have very fresh wounds now. They come and tell me, Tim, you standing there reminds me of my son. And maybe they think that their son won't be forgotten that whole time that I'm standing there, because it does echo throughout the country, you know. And at first I didn't like the cameras in my face, but then I knew that I was furthering the message. Then I'm like, okay, motivator, you know, and then depart the area, you know, like,
Right. Yeah.
it felt very standoffish. But when I saw that it was being able to reach people that can't make it to Washington, D.C. for Memorial Day.
Yeah, that's why we wrote our book. Same thing, that people can get to all the memorials, even in their own state. I mean, somebody who lives in the state of Texas, they could be 800 miles away from the memorial. Like, they can't afford to go for the weekend trip and the food and the motel and the gas and all that stuff. Yeah.
And you gents aren't getting any younger.
Yeah, okay. I hear that. Okay, we got a little video to show you. Okay, Matt, run it. Yeah, that was opposite Thunder Alley, I think in 2019. And Matt was bright enough, as a tech guy he is, to get out there and get you a picture. And weren't you that was the only place you stood on that in that avenue right there, Constitution Avenue?
23rd and Constitution.
Right.
The first few years are going down 2 lanes because there's 4 lanes there. Then they built that medium. Then in the beginning with that medium, it was harder to get around the trucks. They couldn't really go around me, so I'd have to get on the medium. And they brought a bodyguard because they heard I got ran over one year. And when he looked behind him, because he was about 50 feet ahead of me, I had moved back to the center of the 2 lanes because it felt like I was making more of a connection as they roll around me, and I got my eyeballs at them. And then it makes me not think about the tiny little pain that I'm going through with my arm because I'm left-handed. I'm not even right-handed to begin with.
You know, the most fascinating thing I've seen so far in this interview is that picture over your left shoulder of you standing there in the middle of the street, which is not there you go. That's not, where is that? Is that
That's 23rd Street. They make it right on the Constitution, and that's the medium that they built over the years. So now they go up 4 lanes, but it was a more personal connection when they were coming right around me with the 2 lanes. Exactly. And if I'm not making a connection, then I'm wasting my time and killing myself. If I'm not making an impact, then I'm not going to do it.
Right. Yeah.
That's my life goal from the military, you know? Yeah,
it's not fair. That's crazy. You know, it's a straight thing that I've been going down this since 1982, since the war went up every year.
Wow.
Or even a couple of times a year. And I see the progress and I meet the people and it says, what's that already? 82, 92, 102, 2. It's 40 years already of visiting this Vietnam Wall for us, for me, you know, and I thank you so much for that. But yet the motorcycle world, tell me how you stay in touch with these groups and how many are there that contact you?
There's a lot. There's a lot. I mean, even just the American Legion riders, the AMVETS riders, the VFW riders. Then they have all those throughout the country. And I go and I try to support as many events that I can. And it's very humbling when I get welcomed into any biker club that you could ever imagine. Like one might say, okay, Tim, there's no Facebook Live here. I'm like, yes, sir. And then a prospect gives me a drink, and they starts talking to me. The other biker hollers at him and says, hey, he's talking to the saluting Marine. And then another biker stops him and says, hey, the saluting Marine was talking to the prospect. I'm like, I'm just Tim, you guys. You know what I mean? Like, it's very humbling though. When I learn what it means to people, then it means I made an impact, you know?
Let me tell you, you probably affected hundreds of thousands of lives. Hundreds of thousands. Really, seriously. I mean, you got thousands of bikers in Washington every year, right? And they got families, and they got relatives, and they got friends, and they got this and that. And people go, "What? Yeah, there you go." And you're both sides of the country. How often you go out and get invited to places now? Well, before COVID.
Yeah, I would say at least 20 plus events a year, and I still have a few on the calendar. But yeah, it really died out, and I really love taking the phone call. I don't love the end result because I want to go and support. I want to make a difference. I want to make an impact. I want to reach more people that can't make it to DC, just like jumping off the curb. And I can't ask for things that I should be asking for because I know when I get home, I'm asked, okay, Tim, what about the parking bill, for instance? You know what I mean? Like come back from the airport, you know? And I'm like, did you turn that receipt in, Tim? And I'm like, no. But yeah.
Oh, God. So how long did you stay in the Marines?
Right under 16 years. I was like under 15 days of getting another hash mark down below.
Okay. Well,
it went by very fast and I loved it. And I never went to war or anything. So that's another driving force for me to make amends with those that aren't with us, the families left behind, and those that did go. I've been welcomed to the table by amazing Americans that really void out that 10% of lack of maturity type individuals, you know.
Well, I'll tell you what, because, you know, I meet a lot of people like that. I meet a lot of people, I say, you know, and they go, thank you for your service. I go, yeah, thank you for yours. And the first thing they say is that, well, I didn't go to Vietnam. I said, yeah, and what? He goes, oh, well, I was stationed in Germany. Well, somebody had to do the job. Somebody had to be somewhere. And yet I tell them, don't worry about the guilt trip. There's no guilt trip here. You don't.
Well, it's just fire in my belly to whip it on.
You understand what I'm saying, all right?
Yes,
but
yes, I do. And that doesn't lead me down.
Some people really feel bad. Some people are
Yes.
really withdrawn and take it down in their soul to say, gee, but so what? Somebody had to do. You can't do everything. Everyone can't be everywhere, because especially at that time with Europe coming under communism, East Asia coming under communism, different things going on in different times of the year, and now it's the Middle East going on. And yeah, so tell us something about, I would think, when the phone rings and you got to check your calendar. Am I free? Obviously, I'm sorry, this is the COVID season, but let's go before COVID.
Well, I would still rock and roll. Like, for instance, get a phone call at the airport. This lady goes, Tim, you're the saluting Marine. My husband's been murdered. He was a private investigator, and I'd like you to come to his wake and his funeral. In the back of my mind is, okay, where do they live? Because I'm not sponsored by anyone. And if I'm going to make it there and tell them I'm going to be there, I'm going to be there. And the last thing I'm going to do is ask them for anything.
Right.
So she said Riverside, but was right down the street. So I got very lucky in that one. But there's some other occasions where the saluting Marine was called and we beeline 700 miles down the road to give a salute as a dying wish bucket list to an Air Force veteran. The callings come on so many levels, not even just the nonprofit agencies, but families. You know, they ask me if I can be there. And then the Marine Corps, the family said, Tim, who's going to speak on the behalf of my father's service? Well, I knew all about the war. Okay, what did he do afterwards? And he had kids. Good to go. That's all I need. Oh, what rank did he achieve? Okay, good to go. Because I know about her history. So that started to travel like wildfire to all the other funeral directors.
Yeah, wow. Yeah.
And just the enthusiasm. Always been enthusiastic.
That's crazy. Yeah. It could get rather entwined, I imagine, and involved in so many different aspects of where, when, with who, and how. You know, it just doesn't make it. But I'll tell you what, I want to thank you so much. Hang around for our question and answer session. Matt, put up Tim's book on there. There's Tim's book. In this book, Johnny Lee learns honor, as he gets his first ride on the motorcycle, meets the famous saluting Marine, and learns why we stand for our flag. Amen to that. Oh, yeah. We haven't even talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Good. All right.
Yeah, we're kind of losing our moral compass, and I need something to unite us. And I believe giving a broader description on why we stand for the flag and the standards it represents that we must achieve and continue to rise. And that's basically what the kid learns throughout the book, because his dad's a veteran. And there's a big surprise at the very end on what the kid does. But basically, they go to an event. He doesn't stand up. And the dad says, "Why didn't you stand?" He goes, "Were you taught that in school?" "No, Dad." So he's going to get his motorcycle ride to Washington, D.C. And the moral of the story. And I give him I ask him to add something to the flag. Our flag is a moral compass. Sometimes we get lost, but if we remember what the flag represents, we can find our way. And it's uniting a lot more Americans under the umbrella of who left standards and who raised the standards. And that's military, first responders, and civil rights leaders.
Yeah.
I'm trying to unite Americans through that thought frame of mind.
That's excellent position, and onward and forward, and simplify to that. One other thing. We got one here. We got Petey the paratrooper.
Nice.
Yeah, Petey. Petey's kind of like a little crazy. He's supposed to be up in his bedroom doing homework and with his buddy, and his father walks in with the report card that says an F. Here we go. There's an F on a report card, and they're playing video games and having snacks, and they're supposed to be doing homework. Oh, Matt, open up the stove of the film, Matt. Close it back. Nice. Thank you. So he gets caught, and he doesn't do too well because he had an F on his report card. So here comes the time he's got to go to college. Doesn't have the grades. What's he going to do? And can't get into college. Nobody wants to accept him. And decides to go into the service. Then he goes in the Army, and then becomes a paratrooper, and somebody gets stuck in a tree. There's a different going, this happening, and this happening, and this happening. And does Petey respond? I'll send you a book. You'll have to find out. Nice, but there you go. Same thing. Kid had the moral compass. Exactly. That was a great 2 words he put together there. He had no moral compass. But, I guess his parents were trying as hard as they could, but it wasn't working. So, well, I'll tell you what. Thank you so much. Semper Fi. God bless you. Here we go. Okay, ready. Patrick Balsa. When my son Jimmy came back from Desert Storm, and my grandson Blake, who was a sergeant first class in the reserves, was in Iraq, and I was there when they both came home. I was so proud of them to welcome. They got it. They made me feel so good because of the one that we didn't get. Okay. Thank you, Patrick. Hello, Mr. Emrys. You and my father have crossed paths. Oh, boy. We were in 101st Airborne in 68, 69. Thank you, Casey Keith Webb. Send me a few pictures of your pop, okay? Appreciate it. Any way you want. And Patrick Balzer, I'm so proud to see these videos. Yeah, that Washington video was great with this Marine here. I love this guy. I used to go out and watch him. We'd go like Matt and I, you'd have to take a break from behind your booth selling your books and stuff, you know what I mean, all your stuff. And we go out to the street there. That's amazing. Good for you, man. Hold on.
Thank you.
Timmy, where can they get your book?
Well, I have them on my website as a pre-sale. They will be in all the outlets eventually, but the salutingmarine.com, basically, I have the e-commerce store up and running.
Okay, salutingmarine.com.
Yep.
There you go.
Salutingmarine.com. Easy.
You got it. Patricia Puyes says, thank you for your service.
Yeah, she's a patriot. She's a patriot on my page, sir.
Oh, good for you. Who's next? Last comment. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate you coming through. Hope to see you again, and hope to see you in Washington.
Absolutely.
Number
Absolutely.
5, brother.
Semper Fi.
I'm going to hold this salute for 24 hours. No, I'll give it for 24 minutes, baby. God bless you, brother. You're great. Good for you.
Thank you.
Amen. That was good.